Good morning, everyone. I am Beyza Bakışoğlu, and today we are here for MUN Talks. At our third broadcast, we welcomed Ata Arın from our MUN Society. He is in our academics team. We are going to talk about academics, procedures, and of course, we are going to ask Ata to tell us about his experiences. Welcome, Ata. How are you?
Hi, Beyza. I'm really good today. I'm really excited about this radio. So let's begin.
Okay. So let's begin with the first question. Can you tell us about yourself first? Then I want to talk about your overall MUN experiences.
So I'm Ata. I'm second year medical student at Medipol University. I'm actually from Çanakkale, but I moved to Istanbul for school. I started MUN at 9th grade, I think. Because of the pandemic, I had to postpone to MUNs. I actually don't like the online ones.
As we should.
Yes. So when the pandemic is over, I decided to join the club, MUN Society.
Yeah, we couldn't see at our conference, but never mind.
Next year, I hope.
Yes. So can you talk about more about your MUN experiences? Like, when did you start? Which one is your first conference?
So, like, in the 9th grade, our English teachers at our high school introduced MUN to us. We were like, oh, we should go and see him. What's like to be in it. They explained like it's like a very big thing, very important thing. Like, you represent the country, is you wear suits, you talk in formal language. It look like something big, and imagine yourself talking to the people, and they actually explained to us what the outcomes of this conferences would be, what you can get yourself. What you can achieve. So, for example, like talking in public, socializing. So these kind of things looked beneficial for me, and I decided to start my career. So as we were in Çanakkale, we couldn't attend more MUNs because you have to stay in hotel, you have to work early. Get up early. So our English teachers organized like school trips. We were going like Izmir, Eskişehir, Istanbul, stay like 4-5 days, maybe explore the city. So my first experience was Eco Train, I think 16.
Izmir Economic University.
Yeah, Izmir
right?
Economic University. So it was a train MUN. The train MUNs are basically the ones they make to train more new delegates, new
first-timers.
First-timers, yes. So like the conference was like 4 days, and
even though it was a training.
Even though it was a training, just 4 days. So back then, MUNs usually was like 3 days or 4 days. So first day was like they told us what to do, what to make. And as a first timer, I really don't get what's going on. Look, everyone's telling you something, someone experienced showing some presentation in the conference room. You are like 200 people in the room, so like you're so get nervous.
Yeah, they told us like nothing, but
yes, like they're telling something, but you don't get anything.
Yes,
that's the problem of the trains, I think. So as a first timer, you look like a unexperienced person, unexperienced MUN person, and like it's like they're talking too much about this, and what's about it? I should get involved. So when we first get into the committee, it was like some experienced delegates talked, debate, and started to write resolution papers. So I was like going to the GSL. The chair made me go into the GSL. Look, because no first timer can talk.
It was Harvard, right?
Yes, it was
procedure.
Harvard.
Okay.
It was Harvard. No first timer can talk too much in the MUN conferences. They generally hesitate talking. So my chair was really good actually. Encouraged me, talk to the first timers. Since it was train, it's actually normal to do them. But my other friend didn't felt this way, so they didn't introduce, explained anything in the conference. So the thing is, when you are a first timer, you don't need to be scared. You don't need to be nervous, because more than half of the committee is first timer. Maybe some experienced will talk too much, will attack on you, will make accusations about your country, but you shouldn't be afraid of them. So I usually did some writings. For example, like when I going to give a speech, I write what I will say, and in time you only write just words. Sometimes you don't. You just speak as you learn how to speak formal, how to speak in MUN. So in first timers, it's very normal to write.
Yes, actually, we are learning in action in
Yes.
the conferences, because I didn't know either, like how to give a speech, how to give a GSL or other things. But I always say that you will learn in action in conferences. No matter how I try to talk to you, explain to you, you will learn in action. So it was so normal. And can you tell that which country you were represent in Ecotrain? 18 or 17?
17.
Okay,
think.
Ecotrain.
No, 16.
Okay, Ecotrain 16.
Yes, Ecotrain 16. It was long time ago. So,
5 years ago.
I
No.
was representing Brazil, I think, and so in MUNs you represent countries, and if you have a much developed country, it's easier to find research, find documents to defend your country. But in Brazil, it's and the committee was DISEC, which is Disarmament and Security Committee, which take cares about the issues for disarmament of the nations, for example, like nuclear weapons and such. So I really don't remember what the topic is, but I really didn't talk too much. Maybe 2 speeches and just walk around the committee. Didn't talk to the people either, because it was I was 9th grade, 14 years old maybe, and they were all people from universities. They were all big, so it was kind of a bad experience for me. So yeah.
I'm aware that you are very experienced. You have almost 10 conferences with a couple of awards, Best Delegate Awards, Outstanding Awards, and as one of the presidents, I can say that I am very happy that we have you in our team. But why academics? Can you tell us more about that?
So firstly, I'm very happy being with you guys.
Thank you.
So it's actually more of a privilege. You actually be a really good reason for me to return to MUNs. So I wasn't planning to making MUNs in university, and decided to join the club. So what was the question again?
Why academics?
Why academics?
Why did you choose academics?
So
not organization team.
I actually find myself in front of the debate, in front of the academics team. So I wasn't actually planning to do it. I was just going to the MUNs and talking and debating, not planning to do what to do in my futures. I see MUNs as not like a career, but a thing that you can socialize, you can improve yourself, improve your speech, improve your ability to...
Even though you're a medical student.
Yes. So it was like not on the plan, but and being in the Çanakkale makes you able to join in less MUN conferences.
I never heard MUN conference in Çanakkale.
Actually, we made one. It's actually growing. Troy MUN, yeah, yes. Okay. So the heat of debate, the messing with the people with a formal language is actually fun. So there is actually another point of this. I really don't like writing papers, writing resolutions in the MUNs. I actually more invested in JCC committees, which is crisis committees, that you role play yourself. We'll get on that. I will explain it more. And I actually don't like to mess with the people around us, like in Turkey. So I have not like good people relationships as you guys in organization. So I actually was not planning getting on the academics. So
in university or in general?
No, in general. And like if I look back, I was really not making any plans for, like, for example, when I was going to do MUNs in high school, I really didn't plan what to do on 2 months. Some people planned it for, like, I will be in that position 3 years from now. I'll be in that position 5 years from now. So yeah, that's the real reason.
Okay. We can understand that academics is actually very complicated and not easy, but can you give us more details about procedures like Harvard and MUN, because there are procedures conferences are applying. So can you tell us more about that?
So actually we have two main ways of the work, ways of procedure. One of them is Harvard, one of them is MUN, which is created in, I'm talking about MUN right now, created in some high school in Netherlands, I think. I really couldn't remember the name of the school. But the Harvard MUN was actually been making for around like 60s or 70s. So it has a very rich history.
Which one do you prefer, Harvard or MUN?
I prefer Harvard. It's very, you get into more debate. You let me explain it like that. In MUN, in MUNs in general, we have to write some papers, write some resolution papers to solve the issues that we discussed. In Harvard, you write them in the conference, and you write them as a team, and which improves your ability to work with the other people, teamwork ability. But in MUN, you should be preparing your resolution paper before the conference, and then discuss it on the committee. In MUN, they give you time for like 1.5 days or 2 days to write your resolution paper if you didn't. But some delegates did write them, their resolution papers before the conference, so they were just like sitting, not doing anything. So like basically 2 days of MUN is like you're doing nothing. You're just writing your resolution paper without even discussing some things, without even getting any ideas from other people. And then you debate upon your resolution paper. You give amendments, which is something like, I want to change the subject of this resolution paper, and I give this amendment for that. And then you debate on the amendments, not on the issues. We can say that you debate on the solutions, not the issues. Like you start not in the beginning, but at the end of the conference. But in MUN, you start with writing a position paper, which is a paper that you describe your country's position about the issue, what your country thinks, what your country could do about topic.
Delegates sent their position papers to academy or their chairs?
Usually they send them to academy and USGs, under Secretary Generals or Secretariat looks upon them. And the position paper is a part of the awarding process. If you want to get an award, you have to write a position paper before the conference. So let's continue to Harvard's. You have to make an opening speech at the first of the conference. There is a continuous debate on the Harvard. For example, there is a thing that we call moderate caucus, which you describe what to discuss. And
like lobbying, right?
Like then lobbying. There is a lobbying in MUN, which you write your resolution paper. In Harvard, usually first you discuss the problems, then you discuss the possible solutions, then you write something called working paper, which is like an preparation for the resolution paper, which is something more formal. So there is something called general speakers list, which you talk about general ideas, general solutions about the issue. And the end of the conference, you write your resolution paper and then discuss it again. So in MUN, and the difference between Harvard and MUN is like Harvard starts debating first, writes a resolution paper last, but in MUN there is reverse. So yeah, that's the main reason.
Okay, which conference do you like the most?
So I like Harvard more.
Like not procedure. You attended almost 10 conferences, right? Some of them delegates as a delegate, some of them as a chair, board member. But which one do you like the most?
So like
this conference was the best. Which one?
So like as I said, I didn't like to write papers on MUNs. I actually like the debate. So
okay, then let me rephrase it. Which conference's debate was the best, according to you?
So I attended really good conferences at my very early experiences, but I wasn't experienced enough to talk. So I actually waited like two years, not waited, but prepared myself to be a good MUNer. So in Bilgi MUN 18 or 17, I attended the Joint Crisis Committee, which is a role play committee. You act like a historian. Our topic was the Cold War. We were the Kennedy cabinet. There were actually two committees. One of them is Soviet cabinet, and another is NATO cabinet. So like, let me explain to JCC first. It's there is a procedure in the MUNs. There is a rules of procedure in MUN, both in MUN and Harvard. But in JCC committees, there is actually no procedure of doing something. So you don't write a resolution paper, you don't write a working paper. You actually give more directives. As we said, we were the cabinet of Kennedy in the 60s. So we were actually the government of United States and making decisions about the people of the United States. So we had the right to say we are attacking on Vietnam, I presume. We are attacking on that. We should do that. So we are changing our military policy. We are changing our foreign policy. So we were role-playing a cabinet that works on to improve the country. But so GC committees is like that. You role play something. There is no procedure. You role play something. So it was actually Bilgi MUN. So because I really debated, really work hard for the outcome of the.
Did you get an award or?
I think I got a honorable mention because like there were too much experienced delegates, and like
It was Bilgi.
Yes, the JCC committees are like the ones most experienced delegates go. So to make more fun, to not to like write Beyza paper and get award.
And deal with the crisis.
Yeah, deal with the crisis. And there is also called something like crises, which the secretariat gives the historic events that will happen. For example, like Soviets bombed somewhere. So like
actually there is a crisis team for it.
Yes.
As I know, like there is a crisis team and crisis members prepare crises for JCC cabinets or JCC committees. Then secretariat approves it. Then crisis goes into the committee, right?
So it's just like that. When as you are a delegate, you make a move, and the crisis team works against you. So they make a move to improve your way of soluting things. For example, like we were dealing with space race, and they said the Soviets won, and you have nothing to do about it because it's like news. They were like giving them to writing them to old paper, so it was really historic about it. So the crisis team actually makes the JCC committees much more fun, much more debatable. They make the committee move, make the committee go forward. So the crisis team is one of the essential teams in the MUN also. They also prepare crisis for the other committees if they struggle to
debate.
Struggle to debate, struggle to write a resolution paper. So we actually talk on the crisis team. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, then we can talk about your experiences again, but what did you gain from these experiences? Like 10 conference you went, what did you gain?
I actually didn't know English too much at the end of the 9th grade. I didn't went to private school, I went to government school. So I actually improved and my English at MUN's ability to speak in public is actually much more important thing than English. There is actually Turkish MUN's with the Turkish language. I didn't.
That we are not recommend.
Yes, I didn't attend one of them. But as my MUN journey, I gained ability to speak in English. That's actually the very important thing about journey. So I wasn't like even understanding in a conversation what the other people
I think
saying.
this is our problem in, I think, Turkey, because we always said, I know but I can speak.
Yes, yes.
Because we are lacking about speaking practice.
So, as you said, that is the actually main reason. I realized that my English was improved at the end of the 10th grade or so. So I was able to speak with people. I was able to create conversations with people. I was able to speak in public. So after the MUNs, I attended conferences like
I think this is the hardest part, speak in front of the people.
Yes.
And in English.
As a first timer, actually, you hesitate speaking in the speaking in front of the whole committee because you think that if you make a mistake, you will be fired. or they will make fake assumptions for you. So actually, the fear of talking in the public actually is the main big reason to hesitate and participate in the MUNs. So actually, and there is also thing that you socialize. There is clubs. There is around like 600 people in a conference.
And you went to different cities like Izmir, Istanbul, Ankara,
Yes,
and
yes.
you made friends from there, right?
So there is actually a lot of MUN conference in Istanbul, but there is also ones in Ankara. After the pandemic, it's like collapsed, but it is collecting their pieces again. And we are actually be here for that, doing it too. Yes, it's actually a lot of harder than it used to be. So there is not like quality conferences in Turkey right now, but we are working on that to improve it.
Quality people retired already.
So actually, if I have to say one thing about my MUN experiences, I learned English from MUN. I learned like English at the beginning, and if I wanted to write a paper, write an essay, it's not that hard for me right now, because in time I improved my ability to write also, and met some people, socialized in MUNs. So there is actually things that you can socialize in MUNs. There is social parties after the conferences in the evenings. There is a thing called, we say, gossip box, that you write gossips about the committee. Say like, I like this person's hair, I like this person's way of look. And those things make you get much closer. There is some...
It breaks the seriousness, I think.
Yes, it breaks the serious, it melts the ice. Because in the committee you speak with the furious, the anger attitude. But in the break you have to be yourself. I have to be Ata, not...
That's why they start with the icebreakers. Never have I ever like these games.
Yes, exactly. So like in one of my conferences, one delegate, I really didn't remember what country he was like so furious about the debate. He was wanting to solve the issue even in the coffee breaks. He really didn't talk too much. He writes resolution papers. So that's the thing, you don't want to be in MUN. You don't want to get too much involved in the conference because it can be solved. There is lots of time. You have to be socialized as well. Okay.
And my last question is, which advice can you give to delegates who are first-timers?
So don't afraid too much about speaking public. It improves as you make mistakes.
It can be scary at the beginning, but
it can be very scary at the beginning, because if you're thinking about it, you are 9th grade and all of these big people talking in front of you, it's really the thing that you afraid most. But if you be patient and move forward, keep participating in MUNs, you will realize that I improve myself. I'm like super person. I can talk English.
Yes.
I can talk in public. I can easily socialize with people. I can write an essay that is 2,000 words even. So there is actually the thing that most I want to say is, you don't have to be scared, because everyone was a first timer at first. No one was the god
I
of
was gonna
MUN.
say that everyone was the first timer.
Everyone
once.
was, yes. No one was born like a god of MUN. So you have to be a little patient at the first, but when you pass the threshold, you are like much more confident person in your personal life too.
Yeah. Okay, then we are going to answer our questions from YouTube. We have 2 questions right now. One of them is from Naz Çoban. What is historical crisis committees?
So like as we said, you role play one event from history. For example, I attended the Gallipoli War. I attended Kennedy cabinet. I attended Versailles conference after the First World War. So like it's the committees that different from the other committees in MUN.
Actually, you represent a person, not a country, right?
Sometimes you represent the country, but in a historic one. For example, like in Versailles conference, I represented Germany, defeated Germany from the World War I, and I have to act like not the Germany in the 2022, but in Germany in 1918. So I have to represent my country as in that year. For example, there is committees that debate the future issues.
Yeah.
For example, Turkey in 1,000 years from now.
Futuristic cabinet.
Yeah,
right.
futuristic cabinet. There is
I saw that once, like Elon Musk's cabinet or futuristic, like Third World War.
So there is no limit in historic committees. You can make a committee about every event on the history.
Past or future.
Past or
Doesn't
future.
matter.
It doesn't matter. It's just like for the people who like really bored in the procedure of MUN and wanted to discuss something more hard, because you sometimes you don't find a very good information about the committee, and you have to act like you are in that year.
Yeah. Okay. And our last question is from Ömer Barcın. How can I be the best delegate in the committee?
So actually, being a delegate is one of the
And
easy.
you have 2 or more best delegate awards. So
I have actually won because I really didn't like to write a resolution paper. If you want to be a best delegate, you have to write a resolution paper. Being a best delegate is actually one of the easiest thing in MUNs. So you have to write every paper by yourself or by another one. Why you have to be the main proposer of the paper. You have to debate more. You have to give speeches more. You have to participate. After participating 5 or 6 MUNs, I could easily get the best delegate award. But I decided to not to go on GA committees, General Assembly committees, but to move forward to JCC committees. And I got my best delegate award in the JCC committee, which generally they do not give awards in JCC committees, but at that time they did. So if you want to get the best delegate award, you have to write a good resolution paper, write a good working paper, give good solutions for the problem, yes, and be active on the debate. If you do those things, you will get the best delegate award. It's not that easy. It's not that hard, sorry.
Okay. And other question is, what is the amendment?
So like we talk about Harun and Taymun. If you want to, you first write your resolution paper, as we speak on Harvard. And then if you see something or other delegates see something false or not a good road clause at the paper, they propose something to change the clause in the resolution paper, and it's called amendment. The amendment process is like chair asks you send the note paper to chair board and give a motion to give an amendment, and the amendments are discussed by in favor speeches and against speeches, and after that they are voted upon them. If the amendment passes, for example, like there's 3 type of amendments. There's one that deletes the whole clause, there's one that changes the clause, and there's one that add amendments that will add a clause to the resolution paper, add a new solution to the resolution paper. So if one of them passes, the resolution paper should be changed. For example, I say like add blah 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 on the 3rd clause, and if that passes, they have to write on the resolution paper as well.
You are voting those clauses like clause by clause, right?
You vote
one by one.
Yes, one by one. For example, if 4 delegates gave amendments about the resolution paper, you start with the one who gave their amendment first, and one by one you debate on them, you vote on them, and upon the outcome you change the resolution or not. That's the actually main work of amendments.
Okay. And what is the rules for speaking in debating in the committee? Like, is there any rule?
So like,
how should delegate act?
So like, you have to speak in a formal language. You can speak like, you can use the phrase of I in MUNs because you represent the country, not yourself. But in JCC committees, you can represent yourself as an I. But in general MUN conferences, committees, you have to say we or our country, our state, and you have to speak in a formal language, not like in a street language. And like the speeches that you give have to mean something, not like talk something otherwise than the solution.
Okay, this is all for today actually, and thank you for coming today. And we can't thank you enough to our audience, and that's all for today. Thank you again.